Well, let's be real, man. Cooking steaks, it's an aggressive thing. You gotta cook aggressively when you're trying to cook an aggressive dish. There has to be fire, there has to be smoke. We're gonna fucking smoke this place up. We might set up the fire alarm. I'm not even sure yet. So I got this hot. What's up, guys? We're back in another edition of Cooking with Satch, and today I'm going to teach you how to grill the perfect steak at home in your cast iron skillet on the stove top. No fancy grill, nothing. This is going to be a high quality, restaurant quality steak in the comfort of your own home for around less than 20 bucks altogether. You know, it really drives me crazy when you go to a nice steakhouse and they're charging like $65 for a steak that I can easily whip you up in my cast iron. Same thing. I'm gonna teach you how to do that at home right now. So the first thing we gotta look at is quality of meat. When you're picking out a steak, you really gotta make sure there's all this nice fat, all that marbling in there as we call it. That's really the most important thing. That's what's gonna make it really tender and juicy on the inside instead of those lean cuts that really don't get that same quality. So I look at all the marbling, I also wanna look at the thickness. Me personally, I like my steaks to be crispy on the outside and then a little bit, pretty rare on the inside. So to get that, you gotta have a nice thick steak that's gonna be prepared for that. So I got my steak, we're ready to go. I like to take this out about 10-15 minutes before I cook it. The idea is you want to start coming to room temperature. Some people take it out way early, they like to get it really warm. I don't personally like to do that because, like I said, I want to have it rare on the inside, crispy on the outside. So to achieve that, I need to still be a little bit cold on the inside when I go to cook it. So I got my steak, and we're gonna keep it totally traditional, totally natural today. All we're gonna use to season this is a little bit of kosher salt. The reason why we use kosher salt is it's got that coarse grain. So see, it's nice and thick. So that's really gonna stick to the steak nicely. So we're gonna go ahead and season this now. And I'm gonna be pretty liberal with the way I season it. You don't want too much salt because again, then it's gonna start to brine it. But you really gotta make sure you get both sides. Get a little bit this side too, and this one. All right, cool. So now this is all seasoned. We're gonna let that chill for a second while we get our pan hot. And when we're heating up the pan, I really like to use a cast iron skillet. You know, this is not the best time to use your Rachel Ray non-stick pan. You really want a really heavy metal pan that you can get hot. And we're not gonna put the steak in there until this pan is absolutely smoking hot. So that's a really good way to determine if there's smoke physically coming off your pan, that's when it's time to put the steak in. Again, we're getting it crispy on the outside, rare on the inside, so that's the exact cook time we're going for. So I got this hot. I'm gonna do a little bit of extra virgin olive oil just to get the pan going, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drop my steak in. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this, like I said, just to get the pan going so nothing sticks. Take my steak, I'm just gonna put it down right in the middle. And as soon as I put it down, I'm gonna set a timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 90 seconds. And that's how I'm gonna gauge my cook time.
Your timer is set for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thanks babe, I love you. And that's how I'm gonna gauge exactly how long to cook this. Now again, with the steak like this, I want it crispy on the outside, and I want it nice and rare on the inside. So if you want a little bit more cooked on the inside, just add a little bit more in that cook time, maybe go for 2 minutes on there. That's all a personal preference thing. I'm adding some butter to the top, and what's gonna happen there is that's gonna melt as my steak is cooking, and it's gonna keep the meat nice and moist on the inside. I'm also gonna do a pretty liberal amount of butter in the pan. As you can see, a little bit more butter in the side of the pan there. And I'm also gonna throw in some of this fresh rosemary from my herb garden. And what's gonna happen is all that butter and that rosemary is gonna come together and create a nice little sauce in the pan, a little juice, mixed with the steak juices. And we're gonna actually cook the steak in all that flavor. So it's gonna get all that flavor because again, you know, we just seasoned it with some coarse kosher salt. So to really maintain that flavor, that rosemary is really gonna help out. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking that hot butter, that bourgeoisette, as they say in France, I might be pronouncing that wrong, and I'm just gonna spoon it on top. And what's happening with that is that I'm using the hot butter in the bottom to cook the steak on top as it's cooking from the bottom. So again, we're getting it crispy on the outside, it's cooking in the middle, all the juices are going. We're getting a lot going on just by doing it with this method. So I'm gonna give it one more spoon and then I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. All right, cool. So this is good, my timer's going off. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this now. All right. Steak's flipped. Now all that butter that's on top is melting into the pan. So we're getting even more of that sauce going, and I'm gonna take that existing butter, that brown butter, and again, just keep it coming on top. So that's getting out, what's happening is that's getting the top crisper. Yeah, it's smelling phenomenal right now. This is gonna be a good one, guys. I hope you're prepared. Hey Siri, set a timer for 65 seconds.
Okay, your timer is set for 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Thank you, you're the love of my life.
No problem.
See, everyone that's mean to their Siri, when the robots come and take over, she's gonna remember this. I'm gonna get a pass. All right, my timer's going off, my steak's all cooked. I'm gonna take it out, and I'm gonna put it down right here. Let that cool, and I'm not even gonna consider touching that steak for 5 minutes. You really have to take your time with steak and let it cool down, because all those juices inside are gonna continue to cook until you cut it open. If you cut it open too fast, you lose all the juice, you lose all the cook time, you just killed your dish, you ruined it. The one thing I am gonna do is all this sauce that we just made in the pan, I'm gonna take a little bit of that, the steak juice, the melted fat, the butter, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top. And you can hear it's even crinkling as I'm doing it. Maybe one more little tiny one. And it's just gonna give it that little extra crisp, that extra flavor that we're looking for. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but that's the secret to the Peter Luger steak. As soon as they put it on your table, they're putting that sauce on top. That's how they make it taste so phenomenal. You didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from me. So we've let our steak rest for 5 minutes. I literally have not touched it since it came out of the pan 5 minutes ago. As you can see, we got this awesome crust on the outside. That's what I'm looking for. Again, this is my personal preference. I'm a sicko. I want it crunchy on the outside, crispy on the outside, almost burnt. And then I want it really rare on the inside. So that's what I did. If you want it more done on the inside, cook it a little bit longer. But like I said, I'm a sicko. Sickos only in this group. Let's take a look. Let's see how we did. So I got my razor sharp Japanese chef's knife. Oh, it's just coming apart like butter. And see, that looks perfect. See, we got this crisp on the outside, nice and rare on the inside, but it's still cooked enough, so it's pink. Looks like all the fat's melted. You see all the juices coming out. Let's go ahead and slice this up and give it a try. I'm so excited to try this right now. I love steak. Probably my favorite meal of all time. It gives me energy. Do what I do. People ask me, like, how do you do so much? You got like 5 cooking shows, you got a real job, you get out there, you maintain this body of Olympian. Steak, man. That's the key right there. Cool. And just because I'm trying to get better at my plating, I'm gonna go ahead and space this out a little bit. All right, cool. You're looking beautiful. Put a little extra salt on top. Just because, again, I'm a sicko, I like things really salty. Let's give it a try. Wow, that's good. That's absolutely phenomenal. That tastes like victory. Guys, you gotta come try it. It's so fire. Come in here. Tell me what you think.
Oh, that's nice color.
There's a championship steak right there.
Wow,
that's that Peter Luger's.
Wow.
Jump in there. Go for it.
I'm trying to decide which one I want.
I'll
What
go
on
that
this
one.
one? I'm on this one. Wow. Pretty little. From the Satch.
Fire?
Fire.
That's very good.
I feel like if they would have given this to Mark McGuire, he wouldn't need the steroids. He's been 70 home runs in one season, just off steak alone.
Wow.
Man. Fire?
Mwah. Fire.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Wow, I do.